just Liming doesn't have such a huge impact on maps like this one or Blackheart's Bay where there really aren't that many clutch spots. But alright, so 5th up are afraid of the Liming. They are going to ban her out, which means that we're going to be seeing Rhaegar on the side of Sector 1, most likely.
Yeah, now, obviously Kael'thas and Jaina, both good assassin picks. Obviously they're 2 of the 3 mages, and they are really good at picking up these Guardians. And we're going to actually see Kael'thas picked up first for Sector 1, leaving 5th up to take Rhaegar and whatever else they want. Potentially Zagara here, because we've not seen her all
Zagara definitely be picked up. I definitely don't agree with this Kael'thas pick. Yes, Kael'thas is very strong on this map, but Rhaegar or Zagara will definitely have been a lot better picks. Just every single other healer other than Rhaegar just seems so inferior to our Lord and Savior, Rhaegar. I don't know. Just very, very weird. Kael'thas has fallen down quite a bit. I don't think he is first pick priority like he used to be. There's definitely better things to pick up, as you said. Zagara, Rhaegar, which they passed up. Still no Zagara on the side of 5th up. They're hovering over the Jaina. Even though their opponents are probably not gonna be taking it, they're probably afraid that it will get banned out at the second round of bans, which means that Zagara is still open for Sector 1.
Yeah, I mean, I did mention Jaina earlier. She and Kael'thas both really good with those minions, and the reason we're like harking on so much about Zagara is she's really strong at the moment. She provides so much with Devouring Maw, and she does a lot of damage, and she dominates basically any lane she's in, 1v1. Yeah, I mean, there's so many reasons to pick her, but we've just not. We've seen her banned once this tournament, and that's it, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Did we see a pick? Did we see any Devouring Maws?
I don't think we saw No, actually, I think we saw.
Yeah, I think we casted a Devouring Maw game.
I think we did. I'm not exactly sure, but it's just so weird that Zagara's getting through the pick and ban phases up until this point. Usually Kael'thas is the one who usually gets through at this point. Usually he is saved up for last pick.
Yeah.
Hero doesn't really get through as often right now. Alright, so Tassadar gonna get banned on the side of 5th up after the false start and Grey main pick for Sector 1. So they've got really good clear for the shrines right now, and so the 5th up. Both teams do have efficient clear up to this point. Maybe Sector 1 can pick up a tank, something like a Johanna or a Leoric, but first they need to ban something, and I would definitely like to see them ban something like an ETC right now.
Yeah, I mean, unless they want to pick up that ETC tent, they're not going to get the next 2 picks. So 5th up, they have the option to deny pick basically 2 tanks. They can go with a double tank lineup, which I think means Sector 1 should go with the damage dealer. They're going to pick up a Sonya. I think maybe that a ranged assassin or the Zagara would have been a favourable pick for 5th up, because I think a smart drafting here, pick up 2 tanks, deny Sector 1 getting those 2 specific tanks, force them for that 3rd tank, and by 3 I'm referring to ETC, Johanna and Muradin. Now Diablo's really, really strong, but so far he doesn't synergize with anything Sector 1's doing, and a lot of his strength comes out from synergy. The other main choice is Stitches, who's just really good, but we've not seen him at all, so neither of these teams favouring Stitches, so we might not end up seeing him.
Stitches has fallen off quite a bit. Stitches is also one of those tanks that is great for clearing up those shrines. You can just play him along with another tank, definitely play him as a second tank, go for a slam build, and just do tons and tons of damage. And Stitches would actually be a really good choice against the amount of squishies that Sector 1 has right now. I mean, they've got Kael'thas, Falstad, and Greymane. I mean, if one of those hooks lands, that's just going to be a dead carry for sure, unless Falstad manages to roll away over a wall or something like that and he doesn't get stunned from the Muradin. I would definitely want to see an ETC right now, though.
I'm 100% with you. Pick up the ETC because it's a deny pick for Sector 1, and I think ETC is the tank they want the most.
They picked Vala. I don't get this. Sector 1 was not going to pick Vala. Yeah. There's no more bans, so they could have just left.
Yeah, they absolutely might as well just save it for 5th. Makes no sense to pick it up now, as you said.
Alright, well, Sector 1 pretty much has the ETC open right now. They can pick it up. They've got great synergy with him. They can go for Gust into Mosh Pit. and even ETC sliding in, and Kyotas and Falstad and Greyman just melting the entire team, or whoever gets caught in the mosh pit. Only one interrupt so far for the mosh pit, which is the Morden, and Morden doesn't have avatar anymore. But even if he did, like, you can't interrupt mosh pits with the avatar stun, but that's gone, so there's no reason to talk about it. They do have one spot left, which is their support spot. Obviously, they could go for a neuter. They could go for a Karazim. I would definitely like to see either a Karazim or a neuter here. Lieutenant Morales doesn't do too much, and it is gonna be the Karazim indeed. Karazim with 7-sided strike could be so strong against the solo tank Murden, or just going for Divine Palm to protect your carries. There is a lot of burst damage on the side of 5th up with that Vala, with that Jaina, with that Rhaegar even. So Divine Palm, you can't really go wrong with it as long as you can land it. And 5th up, I would advise them to pick up some sort of a bruisery tank here. Leoric can definitely do a lot of work.
Do you know what we could see here? Zeratul. He cleaves pretty good at clearing the minions, but he can blink and then Shadow Assault onto a Kael'thas or the Falstad. He like stick on that target. A Shadow Assaulted up Zeratul will out 1v1 a Greymane if it comes down to it, but they're going to snap pick that Diablo at the end. They go for that double tank lineup.
Right.
So not going to see his Zeratul. I mean, it was unlikely, but I would have loved to seen it. It could definitely work against this composition that Sector1's doing, but it would have been hard to pull off. And we've seen how strong Sector1 is. There's no point going for any fancy plays. It's game one. Size up your opponent. Feel them out. See who's stronger mechanically, or who can get the better drafts or the luckier plays off. Game 2, that's where the crazy drafts are going to come out. I'm calling it. We're going to get a Brightwing. I want to get a Zeratul out. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'll actually agree with the Zeratul, to be honest. Zeratul could have been a very, very good pick due to the amount of squishies that Sector1 has, and it was also another interrupt for the mosh pit. Now, unless Diablo specifically saves his Apocalypse or mosh pit, if he doesn't get caught in it, there's only one way to interrupt it, which is, of course, the Stormbolt from Merlin, which is a bit awkward, to be honest. I mean...
Well, Reign of Vengeance will most likely be picked up here. It's going to give Vala an escape versus the Greymane and the ETC, as well as obviously providing that extra interrupt for the mosh pit. It also means that they may be able to just lock down the Kael'thas.
Yeah, Reign of Vengeance is definitely an option, not really a favorite ultimate. However, in the pro scene, you don't even see it in the Hero League games anymore. Maybe in a quick matches here and there. There's definitely been a few instances where some teams have picked it up, once in a lifetime kind of things. I remember Team Sandwich Monkey used to pick it up at one point, but yeah, I mean, they might just have to go for it, given that they barely have any interrupts for the mosh pits. And as you said, also another possible escape to versus Greymane. That Greymane just jumps on top of you, Reign of Vengeance, and you've got very good kill potential on him. I just think that Vala pick doesn't really make sense. If they went for something else instead of that Vala, like an ETC for example, I think the draft would have been a lot more different.
Yeah, so I'm having words here from Team Captain of 5th Up, and apparently it wasn't meant to be a Diablo pick, it was meant to be a Tyrael pick. The draft client just lagged, so I'm just currently trying to talk to Sector1 and just let them know that that's going on, and whether or not that's okay, or whether or not they're going to insist the 5th Up play with the Diablo pick. Both picks decent. I think Diablo is more well-rounded, but they want to do something with that Tyrael. So
I like
Sector1 have said that it's okay, so 5th Up are going to go with a Tyrael instead of Diablo. So, yeah, going to see that.
Alright, I like the Tyrael better. Tyrael does give you the opportunity to Sanctification a mosh pit if you're good enough with it, and if you don't get caught in the power slide. Tyrael also very strong against Greymane and Kyotas, obviously. Could also prevent 7-sided strike if Karazim on the side of Sector1 decides to go for that. If Falstad decides to gust, you can also prevent it with that. So I definitely like that Tyrael pickup on the side of 5th Up. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and the Holy Ground is at level 16, cannot be understated. It's a little bit of extra lockdown.
Yeah, that too. I mean, around the shrines there's a lot of clutch spots. So if you manage to get catch someone with Holy Ground, followed up by the Jaina combo, and then just consistent damage from Vala and Rhaegar, that could just do a lot of work.
Yeah. And again, like Tyrael, he brings a lot of kind of like little useful things to the team. Like as you say, the Sanctification just can absolutely wreck Sector 1's team fight if it's perfect, or if it's close to perfect. And on top of that, like the extra kind of lockdown and that Holy Ground gives, the small amount of cover shields he provides as well, pretty decent for him and the Muradin. I know, he just does a lot of little things. I like Tyrael. I like him a lot. But big question: who do you think will win, based on drafts? Just drafts.
I think Sector 1 has a really good draft. I also think 5th Up has a lot of draft. This is kind of the situation which we were talking about the last game. I think both teams have a very well-rounded draft, and it's going to come down to execution in the end.
Yeah. I think I'm going to side with what you said at the start. I think Sector 1 have a very strong draft, but I think that they have a slightly stronger draft. Now, obviously we're looking at Tyrael here, not Diablo, as is still obviously on stream, but I just don't see the Jaina Vala doing enough to stop the ETC. I mean, they're going to kill him, fine, but then you've got a Greymane just eating them. The Kael'thas is going to do good cover damage, and that Falstad is going to pick apart one of those assassins. He's going to go after somebody. One of the two tanks will probably be his priority, but if he finds himself on the back line, if he flies over, he's going to absolutely pick apart one of those assassins. And I think that Sector 1 have too many things that 5th Up have to deal with, and if 5th Up don't, they'll lose. So I just think there's just too many things that 5th Up for 5th Up to deal with that they can't.
Well, if they execute it properly, they should be able to deal with it. Obviously, they've got the ancestral healing from Rhaegar,
Yeah.
They've got the sanctification, so if they play this well, they can definitely sustain themselves through everything that Sector 1 control them. They can sustain through chain bombs, go for the throat, the cocktails from Greymane, the mosh pit, obviously, which is a really, really huge problem.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty much coming down to the execution from Tyrael and Rhaegar, and also if Jaina's going to be able to just go in the back lines, try to get a flank on one of those squishies. That's going to be so important.
Yep, so just getting into it, let's make sure I have the right team on the right side. I do not, so let's swap those teams around. Boom. Sector 1 versus 5th Up. This is hype, everybody. The Wall of Heroes number 3 tournament for 2016. We came back in February. This is our third tournament we're doing. This is the grand finals, best of 3 between Sector 1 and 5th Up. We followed 5th Up for most of the cast so far, struggling their way, fighting, brawling that 3% core clutch save in round 2, all the way to the grand finals, and Sector 1 knocking out previous winners Wondercall. It's going to be a close game. And in the meantime, we have 5th Up, the team on the right in red, and Sector 1, the blue team on the left. Lark, team captain there, playing that Falstad. One Spike on the Karazim, Zybe TV on that ETC, Rain playing Greymane, and Sergen on that Kael'thas.
And on the other side, it is going to be 5th Up. It is going to be very hot on Tyrael, Diet on Vala, Primeira is going to be on Muradin, Glyros on Jaina, and wrapping it up, it is going to be Defox on Rhaegar, and it looks like both teams are going to be clashing up in the middle of the map once again. No blocking of minions. They are actually going to try to go for a pick-off. Looks like there's a bit of a dance-off going on right now. 5th Up just waiting in the bushes in Sector 1 are being a bit more careful. Even though I think they've got the better early game potential with ETC Jaina, ETC Kael'thas right now. I think they've got a very, very good lockdown right now.
Yeah, so early game lockdown, the gravity lapse, the power slide, you've got the the Falstad slows coming out. Yes, the Jaina's against you, and Jaina's so strong early game for those kills with the slows. But, I don't know, as you say, I think they could have been a little bit more aggressive, maybe try and get something done with the ETC. But transitioning to lanes, middle creep wave's going to be cleaned up. bottom one cleaned up respectively as well. And this 4-man rotation coming out here from Sector 1. Oh, the ETC power side coming through. Landing on 3. Doing decent work.
Yeah, sadly, Kyotas wasn't exactly able to follow up that much. We do see Greyman up in the top lane, up against Tiro. He is doing quite a good job. Tiro already at less than half health. That cocktail missing could have brought him at an even lower health. Nice 4-man rotation from both teams. Keeps it going. Chimera actually not joining the rotation on his team. He's just staying in the mid lane, trying to soak up some XP. He's probably not going to be able to get ganked off on the side of Sector 1, since he is more than obviously he can just wolf toss away if any danger comes to him. But yeah, full start with Seasoned Marksman on level 1, Greyman with perfect aim, obviously going for that cocktail build, which is very popular right now. Rolling like a stone for ETC, Mana Addict for Kyotas, Transcendence for Karazim. Nothing really too odd except for Greyman, who's gone for Colossal Totem. And maybe Tiro, who didn't go for a Generation Master.
Well, I like Colossal Totem on... I mean, it's easily second best talent in the tier. The more common one we see is the extra range on the Lightning Shield. But Colossal Totem, I like a lot. The extra, like, area of effect of the slow. It just provides, like, that extra bit of lockdown for the Vala and the Jaina. Just those extra slows. We'll probably see Executioner come out of the Vala. Vala can take Executioner, right?
Yes, she can.
Yeah, she can, yeah. We'll probably end up seeing that come out of there. Sorry, my brain just kind of was derping. I was like, can she? Yeah, she absolutely can. So that'll definitely help her deal with a lot of the kind of squishies jumping at her face in the form of that Greymane. And even ETC will appear squishy at that point with an Executioner up Vala. Not going for the right-click build, though, so...
No. Not really the most popular builds right now. We do see a big advantage on the side of Sector 1. They have been able to take a big amounts of those minions. They've got 32 so far versus only 22 on their opponents. So they're a bit behind, but they're catching up quite quickly. This is going to be quite close, but 37 skulls right now on the side of Sector 1. 39, they're probably going to be able to clean this up. Yeah. Nice power slide by ETC, but no damage to follow it up. Volstad might be in a little bit of trouble. He was actually trying to follow up on that Jaina, but it is going to be an Arcane Punisher going over to Sector 1 and trying to wreak havoc in that bottom lane. He's just going to jump down in the fort. Going to get slowed.
He'll be cleaned up pretty easily. We've got the ETC going to the middle lane to finish soaking up that wave. Meanwhile, the Greymane's taking the entire wall up in top lane, and that is strongly contributing to that full level advantage that we see coming out of Sector 1 here.
Yeah, talking about level 4 talents before we talk about the level 7 ones. The only old thing that we see is the Arcane Intellect on the side of Jaina. That is a talent that we used to see a little bit back in the day on Jaina, but people have been just going for Stormfront, just trying to increase that range on Blizzard. Especially on this map, increasing the range on Blizzard is so good. Not the range, but the area of effects on Blizzard is so good for those shrines.
Going for that more kind of mana sustain. Definitely interesting. We see a fight happening over here for these bottom Khazra Impalers, and that's a really good power slide. Then face melt by the ETC, going to pick up the Vala and the Rhaegar. So all the work done for that camp by 5th up, but they're just going to get kind of outplayed and pushed off a bit by really good rotation, map knowledge of Sector 1 there, knowing that their opponents would be going for that.
Yeah, Morden was staying around in the middle lane. Not exactly sure if that was the best decision on his side. He left his team down to the bottom to take the camp. He was trying to clear off that Khazra in the mid lane. And meanwhile, just Sector 1 rotating and taking every single camp that they can on the map. They are going to capitalize on that push in the mid lane with the double Khazra camp. Going to do quite a bit of damage to Morden. He's still at a nice amount of health. Grim is still top lane. He already took the tower, and now he's starting to work on the fort.
Yeah, Greymane's basically filling in that Zagara role. He's pushing super hard at the moment, and Tyrael, he has to stay there to deal with him, but he's just not able to deal with him well enough. And yeah, that fort's taken, like, half of its ammo is gone. That's going to be really important as these quick waves push in, and eventually that fort will just have no ammo, and they'll be able to take it down with no contention. Because if a fort's not going to help you defend, you do not have defended advantage.
No, level 10 is going to be hitting for Sector 1 right now. It is going to be Mighty Gust, go for the Trolls, Mosh Pit, Phoenix, and Divine Palm on Karazim. So he chose not to go for the 7-sided strike, even though there is the double front line on the side of 5th up. Gonna choose to go a bit more safely. Just try to be careful for that Jaina. He does have quite a bit of squishies to protect with that Divine Palm, so definitely a smart choice by him. And looks like they are gonna abuse their level 10 advantage. They are gonna come up to the top lane and just start clearing up that fort, which means that the Punisher is gonna go straight to the keep. Volstad still in mid lane, still soaking some experience, and so are three members actually on the side of 5th up. They're taking some walls down at the bottom lane, and meanwhile Keltas is just taking the shrine up at the top.
Yeah, they really need to get their level 10 to contest this. This is really smart play here by 5th up, but their Punisher's going to push in top, as you say, go straight for the keep. We've still got the hard camp up here. Now double hard camp up against them. Tyrael not able to clear out this one quite quick enough. No, there we go. The Fallen Shaman finally dies, but they've got another hard camp to try and kill, and that may even be being pushed with the Punisher. Not quite the time on that. It's finally the last Guardian dies. Level 10 in favour. Now, sorry, finally reached by 5th up, who do take that Sanctification Tyrael, and we get yet another Ring of Frost Jaina. No Rain of Vengeance from the Vala though. Something that I actually thought was almost a certainty to see out here. And, I'm going to miss a kill there on the Vala in the mid lane.
Yeah, Gremlin gonna go for the Trolls on Rhaegar. Not exactly sure why.
I think he killed off the I think he killed off the Vala with it, and so just had the free reset.
Oh yeah.
That
well,
would,
even so, diving in so deep for that Rhaegar could have ended very badly for him. But yeah, it is gonna be the Punisher pushing at the top lane. It is a frozen one, not an arcane one, so not so scary. Not gonna do anything actually. Probably not even gonna take the gate. And no, it's not. The towers are quite drained of ammunition though. Looks like Volstad is just trying to soak as much XP in the mid lane. Meanwhile, at bottom lane, Sector1 just making sure to take as many buildings as possible to make the path clear for the Punishers. They're taking the bottom fort, and that's 2 forts down for 5th up. Not looking too good for them.
Yeah, they. I mean, that was 2 forts down just for that Punisher cycle. They'd already taken that one down in mid early on, and all Khazra and Pela siege camps are up. They'll probably just end up transitioning and taking out all of those, just forcing their opponents to react to their movements. So Sector 1 definitely in the driving seat.
Yeah, they just hit the level 13 talent, so they can't really be afraid of anything. They've got a very nice rotation. Tyrael is still at the top. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is just trying to clear everything up. They can just afford to invade all of those camps and do whatever they want. We do see Giant Killer on Volstad, Unfeathered Assault on Greymane, Showstopper on the ETC, since he is the only tank, so he needs that extra damage protection. Chain Bombs, obviously, on the Keltas, and Relentless on the Karazim. Relentless, not that great of a choice, but then again, the level 13s on Karazim aren't really that great.
Yeah, it's
so
basically a choice between Relentless or Spell Shield for him, and I like Relentless versus the slows that will be coming out of the Jaina. It's just going to help him reposition better in a fight. And obviously with the Colossal Totem taken, he's just going to be slowed so much anyway that minimizing that is just going to be as useful as it can be.
Nice prediction, by the way, by 5th up. Just checking that their opponents are there. They were actually there, but they were just hiding in the bush, trying to set up a little gank. Tyrael still at the top lane, trying to negate what Greymane did to him in the early game. Yeah. But it's still not looking that
still
well.
Still haunted by the nightmares.
Finally, level 13 for them. It is going to be imposing will on Tyrael. It is going to be the Frost Shot, finishing up that multi-shot build on the Vala. It is going to be Spell Shield for Murren, afraid of the Keltas. Ice Block on Jaina, so no Icy Veins. And Earth Living Enchantment actually on the Rhaegar.
Yeah, so no Lightning Shield talent taken. A little bit odd, but we'll see how it works out in the extra healing. May do some work as we get this contestation here. Only 7 more need to be taken here in favour of Sector 1. Being contested, being forced off, the ETC doing what he can, maybe looking to land a mosh pit, but not quite finding the target. The Divine Palm comes down on the false side really prematurely. That's going to get wasted. The Ring of Frost come down on the Jaina, going to pick up the Kel'Thas and the ETC there. The zone was just great. One spike on that Karazim, able to dash his way out of that. And this might be a Punisher in favour of 5th up now. They took a really good fight there.
They still need only 4, and with that Greymane poke, he just needs to throw a cocktail in there. But no, he doesn't, and that's gonna be a Punisher going over to 5th up. Very well played. That was a very, very premature Divine Palm. If that landed a bit later, that could have definitely gone in favor of Sector 1. Maybe a bit of a misclick here on the side of the Karazhan player, which is 1 spike. But yeah, it is a Mortar Punisher, so obviously it's not so scary. But with 2 members there, it is gonna take the 4 down at the bottom. So trying to even up the building counts right now is what 5th up is trying to do.
Look at ETC though, he's ready for that backstab mosh pit. He's going to power slide through and try and get one. I'm ready for this. Are you ready? We're going to have Lark come in. There's the Mighty Gust, there's the power slide, 4-man mosh pit, what a wombo. The strafe coming out, going to get cleaned up though by the Greymane, and they are trapped against a wall. Oh my god, the Sanctification comes down, but it's too little too late. 5th up going to get cleaned. Jeez. What a wombo. I love that false start coming in from the side there, and oh lordy lord, that was just too much. We saw it happen, we saw it like the setup, and
that was just so well.
That was executed perfectly.
Yeah, executed perfectly. The only one not caught in that mosh pit was actually Vala, which did manage to vault away. But yeah, that was just perfect execution on the side of Sector 1. 5-0 on their side. Sanctification didn't manage to hit fast enough, since obviously Tira was stuck in that mosh pit along with the rest of his team. Vala was actually the first one to get picked off, since they knew they weren't going to be able to pick up everyone else.
The Mighty Gust came out, saw that the Vala wasn't hit by it, and Falstad turned, Greymane leapt, and she was dead.
Yeah. That's it. She was just dead, and meanwhile Kel'Thas was just cleaning up everyone stuck in that mosh pit.
But yeah, I love that thought process. Like the Kel'Thas, he's going to do as much damage as he wants to have him ganged up like that by the Mighty Gust. So why not kill the only person who could do anything? That Vala. That makes perfect sense from kind of an outside perspective. But doing that snap decision, that immediate focus onto her was so good. And Sector 1 looking strong. They kind of look like they may be losing the game, but Diet on the Vala though. Taking a bit of damage, not going to get caught out here. Lark though, on the Falstad, going to get Divine Palmed again. Not really worth it. She would probably escape. Greymane though, getting caught out, going to have to jump his way to the creep wave. Does so successfully.
Yeah,
Tyrion's still chasing.
Assault at level 13, which is allowing him to escape a bit more efficiently. Level 16s just hit for both teams. Nothing really too out of the ordinary. Speed Metal is going to be the pickup on the side of ETC, and it is going to be the Blood for Blood on Vala. Obviously Holy Ground on Tyrael, and finishing up that totem build, it is going to be the Earth Grasp totem on that Rhaegar. Looks like they might be trying to take some. They were trying to set up a gank up in that mid lane. Didn't really work out for them. I think they revealed themselves a little bit too early. They could have just sat there, try to get one of those squishies, and now the entire squad of Sector 1 is coming into the mid lane, trying to get onto that shrine. 5th up have about 15 skulls, almost there. They've
got a nice little advantage. They're sitting comfortably, and they don't have to commit too hard to win this Punisher. They just have to kind of train equally, and that's what we're seeing at the moment. Still 10 ahead, roughly. No fight being committed. ETC does have the mosh pit up. The Murgeon's actually falling really low. Going to have to eat the Ancestral Healing. The Holy Ground comes down. Meanwhile, on the backside, the Greymane's falling really, really low. The Sanctification dropping down, saying that his team, mosh pit's not able to fall down at all, and that is going to be the Karazhan dead, forcing Sector 1 to back off, and this means this Punisher is going to go the way of 5th up. They're going to have the power slide coming through, and Rhaegar actually taking a huge amount of damage here. He's just going to be able to keep himself alive, barely. The lightning shield, the earth shield, plus the he hasn't even got earth shield. Sorry, just the heals is enough from the town. The power slide coming through from the ETC, not going to be able to secure anything there. That's a 15-minute arcane Punisher.
Yeah, ETC actually was a very nice power slide there. He could have mosh pit. I guess his assassins weren't really in range to do anything. But yeah, that is going to be a 15-minute arcane Punisher right now. Coming into that mid lane, and that's definitely going to be a fort secured. But that Punisher is taking quite a bit of damage. He is at about 50% health. So yeah, not going to do that much. Maybe take a tower or two, but definitely not going to do anything to the keep. Nice zoning Phoenix here by Surgeon is gonna keep everyone at bay and just gonna clear up that Punisher quite nicely. Might not even have the opportunity to jump on one of those players. No, he's not. And yeah, fifth up are just gonna move away quite nicely. Don't want to get caught in the mosh pit like they did before. Nice holy ground by Very Hot there, just preventing anything cheeky coming out from that ETC.
Yeah, good. Just kind of back off, disengage. The right time, not risking anything. They've caught up on levels for the most part. They're only half a level behind. It's the 18 for 18. No towns behind. Oh, and we get a good power slide landing on 3 here. Here comes the mosh pit from the ETC. The Ring of Frost, though, doing work from the Jaina. Nobody died as a result of that. The Sanctification covering that area where they're all locked down. The Ancestral Healing landing on the Rhaegar doing a lot. The Jaina cover damage landing on that Keratin. And the ETC just doing so much damage. Greymane running away, but there goes the Earthbind Totem. Locking them all down. Keeping the team fight going. Muradin looking to jump forward, misses the Storm Bolt, and going to be a successful disengage, and nobody dying on either side despite full-on initiations from both teams.
Yeah, full-on initiation, nice certification on top of that Ring of Frost. Once again, I can definitely see why Very Hot has been playing Tyrael so frequently. He's very, very good at the hero. Definitely very good execution on his side.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and despite that kind of 5-0 wipe we saw with that amazing Gus mosh pit play, that was another really good mosh pit. It landed on the healer and both tanks, so any way of interrupting that was gone. But they couldn't do anything. They didn't have enough follow-up damage, and they didn't have enough focus on the Rhaegar, and the Sanctification dropped as soon as it was over. They turned around and almost won the team fight. I'm so surprised nobody died there. I'm really surprised. I thought absolutely with that 3-man mosh pit, fifth up were going to lose the fight and potentially a couple keeps and even the game there. But no, they turned around and almost won the fight and potentially could have taken a keep of their own.
Yeah, that was a very, very scary situation for fifth up to be in, but they managed to come out. But Sector1 are going to be hitting their level 20 a little bit, so fifth up do need to be quite careful.
But what are fifth up doing right now? They're going to the bottom lane. They're just going to go siege a keep, ignore the Punisher. I think this is a great play because Punishers don't siege. They don't do much siege damage. I mean, they can, definitely, but they mostly just help your team push by scaring the opposition away. So if they just come and take a keep... But look, this is smart. What they've done, they've forced their opponents to back up here. They've kind of baited out a back. But not all of them. The Falstad, who has that global presence, stayed up. And they're actually not gaining too much. They've just not lost the Punisher out of this. Muradin, though, being that front line, going to get gravity lapsed up. The Holy Ground coming over, but the Falstad's able to barrel roll his way across. And the power slide coming in from the ETC.
Oh, ancestral healing there. It made the Muradin not have to pop his avatar, so he still has that cooldown up. No ancestral healing for one of those squishies if they do get caught out of position here. ETC waiting to see if someone does get caught out. Looks like that Rhaegar could suffer, but no, ETC choosing not to power slide into him. Instead, the focus is going to be on Tyrael, who still has his Hardened Shield, I believe. I'm not exactly sure. Yes, he does. Yep, and there's the Hardened Shield pop from Tyrael, just making sure he gets out of this alive. And looks like Sector1 want to keep on chasing. Greymane just throwing his cocktail, just making sure that he's poking away at their opponents. This is going to be nice holy ground, trying to zone, but not going to be able to zone anyone
just
out. Really,
bit of a back and forth here. Not many Guardians for either team here. Both under half. And we may see a trap here. The ETC in the bush going to be discovered by the Muradins. The Tyrael went the other direction. Can see the power slide. The mosh pit only landing on the Rhaegar, not really doing much. The Sanctification saving the Tyrael out. Himself, we're going to have a bolt from the Vala. She bolts into the end of the mosh pit, but is going to try and focus on the ETC. Not going to be able to do so. The Mighty Gust disengaging as the Tyrael has fallen. So now it is a 5v4. And Greymane actually falling really low. The Falstad's going to get cleaned up initially. There goes the Arcane Barrier on the Kael'thas. ETC dropping low, able to just walk himself out because he's ETC, he can do that. And triple gravity lapse there coming out from the Kael'thas. No follow-up damage. Diet though on that Vala falling quite low, and with the Rhaegar still there, just so much healing coming out of his chain heal there. Going to be able to keep his team nice and healthy, but he's going to get caught out here by a power slide. The Ancestral Healing dropping literally the last moment it possibly could, and he's going to stay alive as a result. This is still a 4v4, because that false was picked up, but the Rhaegar low on mana, going to have to back away, and this means this Punisher will most likely go in favour of Sector 1. Yeah. I was looking at One Spike's name and going, their team name isn't One Spike. Their team name isn't One Spike. But yeah. Final Guardians picked up.
It is going to be a Frozen Punisher, not going to be an Arcane one, but still Frozen ones can do a lot of work, especially if someone does get caught in one of those routes. Looks like Fifth Up are just going to settle down for picking up a Bruiser Camp. No, they're not, never mind. Actually, they could pick up that Bruiser Camp if they wanted to. Due to the Holy Ground on tier L, they're just going to choose not to go for that. Yeah. Instead, they're going to back off, going to stay behind their keep. Yes, there's that Punisher jumping in. It is on tier L, obviously, so not gonna do that much more than go in the gravity lapse. A lot of damage going on to him. He's gonna have to be forced to pop Avatar. Still hasn't popped Stoneform. He still has his Hardened Shield, so there's still a lot of sustain on him. But that looks like it is gonna be the keep taking. Nice Sanctification is gonna be saving Rhaegar, but he's so low, and he is gonna drop down. And that is probably going to be a good game. The Punisher is already on the call. Nice trade from Valen. Nice Ring of Frost catching Karazin. But due to Relentless, he is going to be out of that quite quickly. More than wasn't able to pop his Hardened Shield, so he's going to get taken care of the Punisher. Nice mosh pit on the Jaina there. And Divine Bomb missing once again, though, on the ETC. The Punisher is still not hitting core that much. He's just jumping on top of the players. He's just like, get out of here. But it looks like Sector 1 are gonna finally focus down the core. It is already at 50%, so looks like that is going to be GG. Sector 1 taking game number 1 in this best of 3 series.
Yeah, well played by them. It was kind of touch and go for a little bit, but they were able to outlast their opponents for that last Punisher. And even though it didn't really do much damage to the buildings, it was enough to close out the game, give them enough support. So 11 kills to 4. The kills kind of tell a different story to how close that game actually could have been. It was very back and forth, as we said, but yeah, first game going the way of Sector 1, and we've got the next 2 maps. If it does go to a decider, the third map would be Dragon Char, but the second map is, as we said, going to be Cursed Hollow, so we'll get a draft going for that as soon as possible. Just quickly looking over the builds here for the stream as we wait for that.
Yeah, very well played by both teams. Definitely, it was a little bit of back and forth for some time, but finally Sector 1 did manage to come out on top. Very well played by the ETC and Falstad, definitely managing to stay in the front line. Very